Hello, my pedigree chums. I hope that I'm ready for this. I'm going to try and narrate what takes place on this time lapse of me drawing some red lines for a client. He's a client from Boulder, well-known architect there, and had me do a measure, an as-built measure of this house, and then took those plans that I provided for him and did red lines on them and returned them to me. And this is the process of me going through all of those red lines with my own drawings, which is very advantageous for me to get things caught up. You can see that I'm able to edit this quite rapidly because of the way that I use dynamic blocks to draw a house, and also my understanding of AutoCAD Lite 2017. Here we have text that I've recently been able to tweak, modify how I edit that. For some reason I used the batting insulation instead of my blown-in insulation block on that one. Here I'm doing a 2/12 pitch when I later found out after digging through the red lines that it was actually a 1/4 inch and 12 pitch instead of a 1/2 inch and 12 pitch on this little piece of roof here. And we also found out that the client didn't want the flat roof of the garage, so you can see it kind of overlapping there as I'm doing that work. I'm trying to get everything reconciled to the red lines that he wanted. He wanted to demonstrate 2x8s and the rest of that insulation coming through. He wanted insulation shown in the section in the crawl space below the, I think that's the family room or the breakfast. Not sure exactly. Yeah, the breakfast zone. Also, he wanted to show gutters in profile where the sections had been cut, just to give a little clarity as to where they would be located. These are his specifications for insulation. We're showing the top of the flooring in the, trying to catch up with you. Putting insulation on top of the new wall and then putting stucco on top of that. For some reason my computer crashed, so I'll probably edit this part out since all you're getting is a white screen. Here we can see that the for some reason my time-lapse software that I'm using had, I think the f-stop was set too high, too low, and if you can just endure that for about another minute, it'll clear up. This is me making sure all of my 2x are cut in properly on all of the rafters. The fascia board here that I'm working on, a 3/4 inch fascia board, and then lining it up with the wall behind it, making sure the 2x4s are all lined up exactly where they need to be in this section view. Let's see, what are we talking about here? I can't even see it. I can't even see what it says there, so I'll probably edit this part out. Just updating a few notes, making sure everything's up to code. Doing floor heights, plate heights. Over here we're doing just some refining of the plate heights, making sure we got the proper measurements on everything, and everything snapped to the right geometry. Oh, good. This is better resolution. Actually, I think I set the f-stop in the opposite direction too far on this one. And if again it's too dark for you, if you just endure for a moment, it'll clear up as well. Here I'm showing, since there's some furring in the floor to bring it up to the floor height in the other room, above this slab, what we're doing is we're showing that difference is a total of 4 inches, and I'm just using a block I call Xbox in that spot. Over here we're doing some soffit work at one of the sections. Again, here's a fascia boards. This is the 1/2 inch sheathing on top of the 2x8s with the fascia board. What are we working on now? That's my coif. I didn't mean to coif in your face. That was my hair. Sorry about that. Hope you can forgive me. Unfortunately, you can't see what's going on here, so I'll probably edit that out too. I don't know, maybe I'll leave it. This is some site work I'm doing. He had some things he'd like to have labeled properly on this one. So there's a trench drain and a gas line and a water line and a water meter location. This is the trench drain I'm putting in the garage and the driveway. What else is happening? This is an XREF. I'm going over into the, I think, roof plan and updating a few items on the roof plan that he had changed. Then when I close it, it'll bring me back into the site plan that I'm working on. I'll X-reference a couple things there. I wanted to name that screen porch. We're doing showing the addition there. This is actually the electrical location on the back of the house and the existing location. And these are some notes that I like to click in. Some presets that I have off to the side. Showing the location of the electrical line. This is the chimney. Didn't give me exact sizes, but I just scaled it off of his drawing. I'm trying to show where that sewer line is going to line up. And then using a construction line to overlay. Trimmed it out. For some reason this showed a dashed line around the edge. I wanted to show a solid line with a couple of posts there. I'm not exactly sure that way it went. Oh, this is when the computer started crashing. Every time I drew this hatch and tried to move it, it would crash on me. Bam. And send AutoCAD over. So I'm going to probably edit this out. Then I had to catch up everything that was like lost when it crashed. And then it crashed again when I tried the same thing. So I had to do a different strategy. So here I am, booting it up again. Waiting. I had to reload this. And this is like 3 minutes by the time I get back here. So, and then I gotta wait another like stupid minute for the AutoCAD light to load. And I never load the program. I always load a drawing, and the drawing opens up the program. I don't know if that's advantageous or not. It just seems to be quicker for me. So what I did was I put everything in place this time and then hashed it underneath there. So you can see a little bush was hashed in there. This is another shrub I'm putting in. Just using a polyline and converting it to a cloud, and then just hatching the cloud. Caps lock wasn't on when I started that text, so I just converted everything to capitals using the text dialog editor. These are items I didn't need in the site plan, so I kind of condensed this down so that it was more refined, a little bit of leaner, meaner. And then these notes. These are general notes. I use it under the project for his project. I'm just updating them. Square footages, where the setbacks are. Actually, utility easements, which are, there's no other setback label, so I'm just using setback. Utility easement as a setback. That's other stuff he needs to verify, so I just put it in red on my drawing. Here's some white screen that probably is me just getting statistics and data. I believe that this is actually in the city of Boulder. And there I am just wasting your time, so I'll edit this out. Here we are in the new drawing. This is the floor plan, I believe. This is a basement floor plan, the walkout basement floor plan. And again, you can see that I have the f-stop on my camera set really low. Oh, by the way, later on in this video, I begin to use screen capture software. And I'm using, what is it, OBD or ODB, let's see what it's called. OBS Studio. I think it's Open Broadcast Software or something like that. And I've got it set down to capture like 4 frames a second or something like that. So this angle will go away and it'll be flat, so you'll see it straight on. What am I working on here? You can just tough that out for another second or two, another minute or two. That tub's a block. Those sinks are a block each. Move the dimensions off to the side. I'm just going to redimension this thing anyway because that's what needs to happen. Let's see what else is going on here. I've got it set so that If I right click and hit X, my XREF dialog box comes up, and then if I right click again and hit X, it'll turn it off. Same thing for properties dialog. I right click P, properties comes up. What else? Everybody knows the Control Shift P will turn off your quick properties and turn it on, so it's a toggle for that. I hope everybody knows about the Control key. The Control key in AutoCAD will make so much, save so much time, especially if you're, I don't know if you know this, but if you have a hatch, you can use the Control key to insert and remove vertices and even add a curve to a polyline of a hatch. I like to use it to keep a line straight. If I'm editing a line and I use a grip and add it and I hit the Control key, it will only go the direction of that line. It won't swing out and stretch it like it usually does. There's a lot of cool stuff that the Control key does for me. It saves me a lot of time. You can see I use it so constantly. There's all my line types. I don't know if you can see that. Once in a while it shows like I have every single line type graphically represented in my drawing on its layer and whatever layer it's on. So it just saves me a lot of time. I don't have to use like a template or anything. I just keep it in here. When I'm done, I just delete it all. Nice clean drawing. What else? What else? So I'm just updating the title blocks for him. Let's see over here. Didn't want that little wing wall. This window changed to a smaller size. He wanted to center the window, the door, and the toilet all on there. And I was also looking to see if I had a toilet that was shaped like the one he drew, but I didn't, so I just went with mine, which I got from another architect. He wanted a square sink, so I just exploded that block and used the faucet and the drain from it and showed the square coming in. I forgot to actually put that together as a block and put everything on a layer that I could send to the plumbing and fixtures layer, but I did get back to it later on. I think it shows. This is me just adding vertices to hatches to fill in the thing instead of actually going back and doing the hatch. Depends on how much of editing has to be done before it becomes like stupid and you just have to use the hatch button. Here you can see I'm using my blocks, my elevation window blocks, to just stretch those windows to the right side. They have there's an exploded one I'm trimming, and I'm using a polyline to do that roof. And I can slow all this down. Everything I'm talking about in here, I can do smaller videos and demonstrate everything I'm talking about later on. But right now I'm just kind of getting an overview of everything. This is like he wants to show again. I don't know if this screen capture software is doing justice. Let me know if you like it or not. What the resolution's like on that. If it's too dark, I don't know exactly how to set that where it would be brighter, because I'm just getting what I'm looking at on the screen. This is the actual screen capture software instead of me using my camera with the time-lapse photography. Right now I'm using my time-lapse to do the church parking lot across the street and watch it fill up and watch it empty out on Sunday morning, which is always fun. There I am. There's this house. It's got a rooftop deck. It's kind of cool. It's a little bit kind of a modern. It was like postmodern back in the 50s or 60s whenever it was built, and then this architect took that and went with it and made it even better. It's like really cool. So I'm enjoying working with a creative element like that. There's that trench drain we were talking about on the site plan in section, just kind of showing it to give a general idea. This is those windows. He wanted me to screen those. So what I did was exploded my windows. First of all, I made them the right size. So this is me like entering all the data in to make them the right size. You can see me dragging the grips on my dynamic blocks to make those the right size. What I did with these windows was I used a hatch in there and just made a real faint hatch with some screenage. I hope I covered everything he said. He'll let me know. I just sent this off to him a couple days ago. Maybe it was yesterday. No, it was 2 days ago. What's going on here? This is more roof, catching the roof up. So it's got like the right height on it, and it matches the sections. Sometimes I'll draw the section first, and then I'll come back and do the elevations. So you can see all 4 elevations with the XREFs above them. That's how I project down with the construction line. And I have my construction line programmed to my right click. So I'll right click, and if I hit a V, I'll get a vertical construction line on the def points layer. Or if I hit an H, I'll get a horizontal construction line on the def points layer, because that stuff won't print and I can use it as a construction line. If I need to leave it in the drawing, it won't print out, it won't show, because def points doesn't print. That way I don't have to make a no plot layer and make sure everything's on it. It's just so much easier and quicker to just like have it on a def points layer. I should have made a block out of this little thing. This is just like the trim piece on the end of the rafters that goes on before you put the like the fascia board in the trim piece. Okay, it's me turning off layers for some reason. Oh, I'm in a reference drawing right now. I think it's the roof plan. And I close it, and it brings it back here, and then I just go down to the lower right-hand corner and right-click that little icon and say update. I have the balloon notifications turned off so that I just know what I'm doing. If I'm working in a drawing like this and I go to the XREF, then I just remember when I close the XREF, I'll be back in this drawing. And let's see. Just a note, so one of the things I've done to kind of accelerate my performance in that is, how much time have we got left here? We're almost out. Is I used to, we're about halfway through. I was just sitting there. We're going to have to edit this part out. Boring, nothing's happening. So here I am back to drawing. One of the things I've done to accelerate my performance is when I'm in a drawing like this, and then I go up and I select, how does this go? I select a XREF, an external reference drawing. I right click, hit X, it opens that drawing immediately, automatically. I've got that set to do that. So a lot of people do. It's just so fast. Then you do all the corrections in that XREF, and then I hit right click Q, and what it does is it zooms it to the extent of the drawing, and saves it, and then closes it. And then I'm back in the original drawing that I was working in that had the XREFs. What are we looking at here? Oh. Okay, back to elevations. He didn't want to have that on the door. That window was too small. I had to go back and correct that in plan. So here I'm working in the XREF, making that happen. That shaded poche part represents the new wall system that's inside of the old wall system. He had some dimensions on there, so just for clarification's sake, I put them on the same drawing. This is him labeling each window. He wanted me to have that done. Here's the screen thing I was talking about. So I took my window, I just exploded it, removed out some of the mullion, called it screens, added vertex. That's another thing you can do with the control keys. You can add vertex to a multi-leader. You can add and subtract vertices and arrows from a multi-leader. This window was too tall, and that was stucco instead of stone. Point to the chimneys, make sure they're all labeled nice and clean and clear. This is window K. This turned out to be doors. I didn't realize it was sliding doors. It wasn't sliding doors, so I had to go back into, I'll show you that in a minute. This is that screen I was talking about. I used shade 9, which I had set to like, I think 80% fade or 20% fade, it's either way. And there it goes, 9. So that fits in there. This is the screen porch. This is the other side of the screen porch. Over here I messed up. See, I'm using the control key to eliminate those vertices on that hatch. That's so handy. I hope you guys can use that, because I don't know what this big push is to get like Revit to be the thing, but I think it's just crap, because that's modeling and this is CAD drafting. And besides, in sections you have to do all the CAD drafting that you're doing in these CAD drafting the same in Revit anyway, because you're just CAD drafting on a model in section. So anything detail has to be drawn by CAD, so I'm just sticking with AutoCAD since it works for me. And I'm not doing projects with big corporations where I have to collaborate with a bunch of people anyway, so it's really good for me. Highly efficient. Building up a client base is not easy though, because you get a lot of these old school dudes and they want things a certain way, which is perfectly fine with me if I'm only doing work for one guy, but I've got like 30 clients that I work with, so it gets a little confusing. Nice thing is a lot of the new clients I have, a lot of the homeowners and a lot of the engineers, they just let me draw whatever I want. So I have my own templates for all that stuff. I might just sell my template because it's got all this stuff in it. Let me know if that'd be cool. Be cool for me if anybody bought it. That'd be sure. I could pay the rent. I got 4 kids and an ex-wife. So here's those doors I was talking about that were sliding doors in the original plan, but now we're going to do opening. It's the master bedroom. This is kind of cool. It's on a lower level. It's a walkout level. Really, really cool. I'll clean up this bathroom a little bit. I think soon I'm going to be doing electrical on these as well. I'm trying to resize this. This is where if I hit right-click L, it'll close my layers dialog box. So I have that as a toggle. Also, you do have to right-click in the drawing area for it to come up and to close. There's a little bit of a tweak on those. Those are kind of off by like a 1/4 inch, so I had to straighten those columns. Next, what do we got going so far? This is my electrical block. It's got everything electrical in it, and all of these blocks are dynamic. Well, they're not necessarily dynamic, but I have things set up on my grips cursor that make them dynamic, like rotation, scaling. Those are external lighting fixtures that I'm putting in. He wants to put this panel in the garage instead of downstairs in the backyard. And this is the existing panel. This is a brand new 200 amp service he wants to put in to that existing location. That's the light over the sinks. Combination fan. Waterproof fixture. Recessed can. Here's how I lay out the geometry for this. So I'm going to probably line this up with the center. And then I don't know how I did that, but usually when you're doing lighting, you want to lay it out to some kind of grid. So I just matched that to kind of the room. Here's what I'm talking about. See how I laid that out? Just offset it 36 inches from the perimeter, and then put the cans in on the points. And now I'm starting to put switches in. See, I rotate switches by using the grips edit. Oh, another thing you can do with the control keys, if you grab something with a grip and you hold the control key, you can copy it, which also accelerates it. I had to make this existing. Oh, this is something I wanted to add to my template. I always have this thing where I'm running a wire up or downstairs into the next view, and you got to tell them where it goes. So I just made this little note here and kind of made it go hot rod the performance. Then I W blocked that out so it would be in there next time. And then I realized, oh crap, I didn't use the origin properly. So I had to go to the actual block and reset the origin so that it was at 0, 0 instead of somewhere out in space. What am I doing here? So that drawing's done. Now I'm going to do, I don't know, still, this is it. So I have it so if I double click a spline, it'll put me on that layer of that spline and be drawing a spline as just a macro. That's in your double click functions in your CUI. Here I'm attaching the switches to the lights. Attaching the switches to the lights in the closet, attaching the switches to the light in the existing mechanical room. He had me turn off all the words, so I think for clarity, for sake, people kind of know. There's another mechanical room in the opposite section of the house. Hear me offsetting and putting in light fixtures. I think he only wanted 4. No, he wanted 8. So I just did him in the increment that he wanted. That's a combination fan. Whew, a lot going on. A lot going on in this drawing. 30 minutes of this. 24 minutes so far. And I'm just connecting all of these. Oh, by the way, I do have that set so that if I double click a line, I'll be drawing a line. If I double click I'll be double clicking a line on the layer that line is on. Or if I double click a polyline, I'll be drawing a polyline on the layer the polyline is on. It's just so fast. It's huge acceleration. Instead of having to pick the line command, if you're in a drawing that already has geometry, this is a way to like hyper-accelerate your thing. Or if I click on any block, if I double-click on any block, I'm editing the block. If I double-click on any text, I'm in the text editor, as you can see right there. If I double-click on any dimension, I'm editing the text on the dimension. If I grab, let's see, if I grab one of the arrows on a dimension and I use the control key, a couple things can happen depending on if you're grabbing one dimension or a string of dimensions. I can instantly add a vertex to that dimension and just keep walking it down. What am I doing here? Oh, this is the first floor, electrical. I'm going to explode that one and start bringing these over. And I'll show you what I mean by how these electrical fixtures are all dynamic, or at least the ones that need to be are, the ones with text and the ones with positional constraints. Putting that exterior light fixture on, like a carriage light I think it is. And I hope you can hear me all right, because this is a lot of work for me to sit here and not have you do it all, hear it all. Okay, what's going on? Okay, now I gotta start placing these lights. So here's what he wants to do with lighting. You want a certain offset. I had to like scale these so that when I'm away, that's when nothing's happening on the drawing. I think you want a certain amount of these, so I just used the array to do that, and then deleted one because he didn't want one by the fireplace there. And then what am I doing? I'm copying that row over and then centering the last one in the entryway. I'm going to continue placing cans. I hope that's what I'm going to continue doing in this electrical plan. Yeah. Up here is the living area. It's up a half flight. And he wanted to do this, so I just basically copied it like that so that it lined up, that they were evenly spaced. That switch goes outside into those two fixtures. He didn't tell me where the switch was exactly on the inside one, but he said he'd get back to me on that. So I'm going to hold off on showing that, of course. And this one he did say he wanted to be connected. So that spline goes there. Copied that one over. It's a fart fan. Connect them. And TV, he did show that there. So here's one that has a dynamic flip, so it flips the direction of the TV connections. There's where the new electrical panel belongs. What else? What else? Well, there you are. I think I'm wrapping up, coming up close to the end on this one. How much time do I got left? Not much. And I hope a lot of this is helpful. I would appreciate it if you would visit my website at www.vaniger.com and tell your friends to watch this a million times so I can make a buck, and that would be cool too. Like I said, I've got, I don't know, I don't have a boat payment or anything, but I got 4 children and an ex-wife, and that's expensive. What else have we got going on here? Oh, so now you can see how everything's put together. Those are the, I gotta update the date on the title block. Now I can open the drawings. And they're all properly centered. They're all relative to each other. Everything, if you drew a line down one edge of my drawings, they would match on all the layers, all of the drawings, all of the ones. So here's what I'm trying to do. I'm trying to get 3 drawings to fit, because I have 3 sections. I have 3 as-built sections and 3 proposed sections. So I just divided this up in thirds by using the array and then doing 4 and then saying fit, and made it into 3 sections. 4 lines, 3 sections. And then I just zoomed those up to 1/4 inch, so I got them all to a line. And that's why I draw frames around stuff that I draw, because that's how I reference everything and make it nice and clean. Give it good continuity. And I did the same thing for the proposed elevations. What's going on here? I'm closing those and then zooming in, make sure everything kind of squishes up. I think I forgot to get one of these titles actually into the drawing, but I can catch that up when I get the next phase of red lines, which should be the final phase. Pretty sure. Well, I don't know how many times he wants to go do this, but it's like, for my hourly rate, there's a point he's probably going to want to stop. You can see me centering those up. I'm just using the zoom and clicking to the middle and top and bottom. And then, what? What did I forget? Let's try to do something. What am I doing here? Making sure my titles are good. Making sure everything fits. Aligning everything nicely. And there's some construction lines. The def points construction lines. I guess I tried to scoot one of them up. There's the site plan with the notes on it now. And that's it. Thank you. Have a great day.